Hello, everybody. I'm Krasi, and I have the honor to have again with me the medicine man, the shaman, Joe Greenland. I'm still, Joe, under the impression of the clearance or clearing that you just done for me. I recommend this to everyone. Joe is a real medicine man, and I had such reading or clearing with him that is life changing. So it's a true honor that you accepted again my invitation. And thank you, Joe, for being here. Thank you.
Thank
And
you.
we will talk about many things. One of the things is a result of the clearing that you just did for me. And we spoke so much about this information that is channeled, that is encoded already in the in the environment or information field around ourselves, and each one of us can use this information for better life, for like a remedy, or for uh, bringing him or herself on higher vibrational level. This is what I understood from what we spoke. So Joe, please, I'm handing it to you so that you really explain, because this is the key for people to help themselves. Please, let's talk about this subject because it's really amazing.
Okay, part of the whole thing is one of the topics that we came across was fear and how people get stuck in that fear, and they just keep attracting things, sometimes in dreams, different things in life. Most people, even my friends, a lot of them, they're focusing on a lot of things that are going on with 5G and that, and they keep thinking and looking for the fear. And I always tell them it's not about looking for the fear, it's looking for the answer the creator is giving to the planet. If the creator is helping to create one thing that's negative, the creator also has created something that's positive. So people focus on the negative, and all they do is stay scared, and they're getting the answer. It's right there, all kinds of different answers, but they don't want to listen to the answer that's there, trying to help them to let go of the fear, because they only want to focus. It's like creating stories, and they get lost in it. It's like riding down a water slide, and you're riding, you're like, ooh, big car, ooh, get scared. And people, they get stuck doing that all the time, and then finally they come down, they hit the water, and like, woo, that was fun. But when we get too much into energy, and there's so much knowledge on the planet, and this has been going on for 2,000 years. They've been using the Bible as one of the sources to scare people, because they knew in 2,000 years people wouldn't understand the knowledge. And then it got so distorted, and people hear certain words and they go, ooh, scared. But everything that has been prophesied by Mayans, by natives, by Nostradamus, by anybody, everything that was sawn and told, there's answers to that's been channeled to correct whatever is the imbalance or the fear. I really like Cryon. Lee Carroll wrote 12 books or so, Cryon, and in Cryon, the being that talks through Lee Carroll and got him to write the books give really lots of answers about the children, about energy, about things that are going to change the planet. And he's been doing this for 20 years, and lots of the stuff he talked about in the books are already here now. There's a lot of engineers and scientists and that creating new things now. Like people used to be afraid of the phone, different kinds of energy coming off the phone. So they created a little thing you stick to the phone that gets rid of the energy. And they're always creating new kinds of things. In the Atlantean times, there was many kinds of things. They used crystals and energy to help the planet. And there are people on this planet who have information inside themselves. Some of it is in their DNA and that. So I always encourage people to try to get past life regression, to bring in stuff they already learned from other lifetimes that's positive, that could help change the planet. Many books been written. Rudolf Steiner in the 1820s, he was shown lots of things way in the future, and he already wrote books and stuff on it. And he tries to encourage people to understand that when we get to a certain point in life, these changes will come, and we were going to do things in a new way. Cryon talks about that through Lee Carroll. Um, I don't know. There's even books on the Pleiades, the beings from in the star galaxies that are trying to bring information into this world. There was in the 60s, 70s, and 80s really lots of books written about the Palladians and how they're helping to bring this earth to a better place, and they're trying to bring in information to bring peace to people so that they're not afraid. And there's books out there, and if people ask the universe what it is they need to read or what it is they need to find that's going to stop them being afraid so they can believe in better things, so that they can create positive, they can sit with people and help one another to be calm and go, don't worry about the 5G, there's this that's going to be there that's going to help people so they don't get affected. And the more people bring that information, the more that the energy doesn't generate, and it just jumps from one person to another, and it just keeps sending things all over. We need to start grounding and believing the earth. She's gonna rebirth again. The Indians in India and Pakistan, they talk about the Kali Yuga. In their knowledge is every 60,000 years the earth she rolls, and the earth is like when a woman is carrying a baby inside her womb. Every now and then the baby has to move, and when he's growing, he moves around. He's always adjusting, is because he's got to grow a little more this way and that way. And the earth, she spins so long one way for a very, very long time, and things get out of balance. So she will move and she'll rebirth again. And she does this. The scientists all over the world are proving that she does this about every 120,000 years. The Indians in Pakistan and India, they talk about, if you go to their country, they say we're in the Kali Yuga right now.
Yeah.
Kali and Shiva are going to help transform the planet. So the earth is going to roll.
But
There
this
is,
transformation is sometimes the transformation is like rebirth for the earth, but many people can go through suffering and difficulties.
there's lots of different things, and when we're in it in the moment, it can be very scary and frightening. But once we're finished and it's over and done, then we're going to work on making the world a better place. And the children that are getting born on the earth, lots of them already have that knowledge. That's why some of them can't get scared. Some of them, they can't get sick by things on this planet because they're bringing in a whole new energy, and they're going to be here and they're going to make things really beautiful. And no matter what goes on the planet, they don't get scared. You can't make them afraid because they already see and know what the future is going to be when they're born. And they're just growing up, and there's parents that have brought some of these children in, and they're the teachers. They're taking whatever knowledge they have to help their children to understand not to be afraid, and how to use this knowledge, or how to meditate and allow the creator, earth mother, to show them visions of the future. The natives are really big about having visions. We have vision quests, where sometimes we'll go in the mountains and we'll fast and do things, and we pray for the creator to give us a vision into the future.
Pause. Excuse me, Joe. Just back to your fasting. Then you're praying to get vision. How long are you fasting? And what is the conscious? What is the manner of fasting? Because every culture is doing different way of fasting. I also fast when I'm making talismans, 10 days. But what is your way of indigenous way of your fasting?
In my fasting is I pray, when I know I'm going to do this. I usually pray a long time, telling the universe, well, I'm going to go and do this, and this is my releasing and giving up things on this earth, because I want to go and sit with spirit so I can receive things that will help me. And the vision quest is trying to have a vision to see into the future, how you're going to do things, or if you're going to help people, that you have this clarity, and so you're grounded and you're sure about your path, where you're going and what you're doing. And once I choose to go on this vision quest, I choose to go without water and food for 4 days.
Water also.
No food, no water.
Water.
And I sit and I pray and I ask. And so this is my sacrifice in giving up and asking spirit to bless me, to help me to know some of these things on my path that I'm gonna go, or things I may need to do to help people. Uh, in our Sundance, when we Sundance ceremony too, we fast and we pray, but we dance under the sun. And I always ask for visions in the Sundance. When I was doing the Sundance, I would pray for the whole world. I would pray for the future. I'd pray for the animals and the trees, and I would ask the Creator to help everything. And that was something I was doing to help the planet when I was doing the dance. And in the Jews, I know in the Jews they have a kind of a vision quest. I know they go out in the desert somewhere and they do it over a longer period of time. They have their certain kind of rituals and that where they see things, they know things, they get these visions. I think theirs is done for about 30 days. I think they go throughout the day praying, and then at night they drink water and they eat food and then they sleep, and then the next day they go all day. I know the Roman Catholics, they have theirs too, where they have fasting during the
Yeah.
Easter and other things, where they go without food all day, and then at night they drink a bit of water and they eat a bit of food. But they do this, they tell the universe that they will fast for 10 days or 2 weeks, and every day they go without food and water up until they whatever they said, and then they start eating in that again.
When you say universe, whom are you referring to? Mother Goddess, who the creator? Because there are versions according to the Mesopotamian mythology that Tiamat, the mother goddess, created us. Who created us? Who is the universe? Who are you addressing? This is very important so that when we pray, when we praise the universe, we know who we are praising, who.
So in the native way, we say the creator because something created everything. And we all know the creator because we all came from there. We all have somewhere inside us an understanding, and we all have a language that connects us. In every language, in every race or something, we just know that's loving, an energy that created us. To me, I say creator or I say great mystery. Because when I look out into the universe and I look all over and I see all these amazing planets and stars and galaxies, something so loving created that. And in those other stars and worlds and galaxies, there's other beings. They have their language and belief, and they pray too to the great mystery, the creator, whatever you want to call. And they have their ways of believing and connecting and knowing things too. So this being to me is a very loving, great mystery. Because when I watch a plant grow from a seed and I see this thing come up and I see all that when the stem comes up and the leaves and then eventually the flower comes out, I mean, that was a mystery to me. I don't know how it did that from that tiny little plant, but something so beautiful did that.
Yes, yes.
Two, for me, is the one I pray to, and I say, Creator, great mystery, the
Yes.
one that knows everything. The one is the life force, is that light. The Indians and the Hindus and that, they say namaste. Namaste is the light in you. I honor your light and I honor the light in me. It's an energy that's indestructible. And it just keeps on creating everything forever and ever. And there are schools and places and learnings, and there's many different levels of things. Everybody, if you look into Rudolf Steiner's his teachings and that, he says there are 7 rays, and he says there's people in the red ray down here, and then the one above that I think is orange, and then the one above that. And he has a way of teaching that if a person is in a red ray here and you're in the purple ray, you're not going to get along
Oh, yeah.
because your energy is too high, and the person in the red ray, their understanding capacity in their mind is down here in the red ray, and there's still lots of learning and growing. One day when they get up closer to that purple ray, you can talk to them, you'll get along, you'll be happy. But if they're down here and you're trying to go down here and you're trying to pull them up really fast to this red, they get really angry, or there's this pushing and pulling because they're not ready. They still got lots of things to learn. And I think it was in the States, they opened the school of the seven rays, and they wrote books and that on all the, because when you look in, your third eye is open, you can see the color energies around people, and that tells you which ray they're in. So where they are learning and what they are learning in their spiritual growth. So you have to respect everybody in their own. So you always try to attract people that are up here moving into these kinds of things. So whatever ray you're in, so if you know somebody in a red ray down here, they're trying to learn and grow past certain things, you try to connect to somebody who's in the orange, because this person will connect really lots and he'll heal and grow really fast. And then when he becomes orange, then you want him to connect to the next one. So in the school of the seven rays, they teach this. They try to teach people that there are certain kinds of things, and if you match that energy up, you can heal and move people a lot quicker, because their capacity, their mind opens easier. They're more accepting to that. And that's like fear. People focus too much on the fear outside, and they generate an energy around them, and they're attracting things, and it's just making them scared, and they want to run away and hide because they don't know how to deal with the fear. So they need to stop and say, well, what is it that's going to stop me being afraid? And is there a book there? Is there a teacher? Is there something that when I find this information, it's going to bring peace inside me, and I know things are going to be good? I can't see that outcome, but maybe when I'm in it, I'm going to realize, I'm going to go, and I'm going to be really happy. And that's a beautiful part about going back, because the universe gave us this knowledge, but we're constantly praying and looking into the future. But if they already gave us the knowledge, maybe we need to stop and go back and find those books again we didn't understand and reread them, and maybe we have those answers.
So this is the
And one
way
of
to
the,
connect to the channeled information, the information
yes,
that already exists. This is the way.
exactly. Because in the 90s, there were lots of books, and in the 80s coming out, and people would come to me and say, hey, Joe, have you read this? And I would read it, and I'm like, oh, wow, this is really cool information. They're like, but I don't understand it.
Oh, yeah.
And they get really confused by it, and they put the book away, and they're like, I don't want to know this. And I tell some of my friends now, remember when you read that book in the 90s, this one book? Maybe you need to go back and read it now, because you're going to understand, because the knowledge and the energy is here now. So that channel information will make sense. So then all of a sudden it's like, wow, yeah, I knew this. I read it long ago, but it made me mad because I didn't understand it. Now maybe I can go back and reread some of those confusing books, and I got my answers. So I don't have to be afraid.
But
And learning to trust yourself, because you have a voice, you have something inside you that you know is true. We all have that, right? From when we're little children, we know what is right and wrong, and we know inside us there's something that helps us along that path. One of the things I always tell people, if you're meant to be in the future, then in this body of 400 billion cells or more, there's cells inside you that every time the Earth Mother's energy changes a little bit, that frequency inside is going to change with you, and you're going to adjust into these new energies. So eventually you're going to be a part of all these things. And it's already inside you because you created it that way. And a lot of us already know this, but we're getting too pulled into all the fear, and not just trusting and believing. The creator's been at this hundreds of billions and billions of years. When you look at all these other worlds and galaxies that evolved before us, if he can do all of that, then what do you think he's going to do for us here now?
but Joe, the matrix operates and influences and people through the fears. The creator allowed these, and the creator allowed these fears to overpower us, to overwhelm people. Why the creator allowed this? Because the matrix runs and strives and operates through fears.
But we all agreed upon it. We all decided to take these bodies to learn different things, and everybody's soul wants to learn different things. And it's like a school. We're on a planet that's a school, that we invited all these experiences. And once we figure out what that fear is and we release it, it can't affect us anymore. And for 100,000 years or so, we agreed upon whatever has been going on the planet. And then the universe goes now, because we talk about the age of Aquarius, the time of enlightenment, of 1,000 years of peace and everything. They've been singing about it since 1960. They wrote the song, The Age of Aquarius. And they talked about all these kinds of things. In the 60s, this became really strong. This is where the universe started channeling songs, start giving books, start helping people, and you started seeing things change. And usually towards the end, it gets really, really crazy. But we're at that point where everything is going to change, and the truth of all of this is going to be there. And one day people are going to go, wow, here I am. We made it to this point. But a lot of the things is going back and looking at some stuff from the past. Maybe there was something there that was confusing. You didn't take the time to read or finish the book or explore and look into a little more. All I know is there's been many books in my life. When I really needed help, I would pray and ask my guides and my spirits and my ancestors and whoever's there that loved me and could help me. Is there a book there that maybe I can read that's going to help me to get through my fear? Because I walked lots of times in my life alone, and I always searched. I always tried to read. I read Nag Hammadi, I read Dead Sea Scrolls, I read Bibles, I read anything. Because when I was a child, the minister in the residential school told all us native kids in there that no matter what we did, when we died, that the creator would just burn us. And I always wondered why. It scared me. It made me very angry. And I talked to my granddad lots about it. And he always told me, he says, just read and study. He says, there's no such thing as a stupid question. And he says, just keep asking. One day you're going to receive that answer. One day you're going to understand all of this. And so I started trying to understand the Jews. I started trying to understand Buddhism. So I went to temples to meditate. And I went to talk to the lamas and the teachers. And I tried to read anything. And eventually, over my lifetime, I realized all these things are connected. But if you're only focusing on the fear and the negative, that's all you're going to see. You're never going to see the beauty and the love that's in everything that God created and gave to us. And when you find that peace inside, you're going to realize all the answers are there. It's sometimes right in front of you in a book, but you had that book for 20 years and you just put it aside and you go, no, maybe one day I'll read it. But maybe when you finally open, you go, wow, I had this for 20 years and I would have had the answers and not been afraid.
But sometimes there is so much literature. You said you read so many things. This is the reality. So many, it's so much. How you say you answered partially my question when you said your heart will tell you which is the right book for you, for yourself.
Exactly.
But it's so easy to get entrapped also into the wrong literature, because I sometimes see this in the horoscopes, that people can easily get entrapped into the wrong philosophy, wrong. This is easy. We are people, we are humans, and we can easily be misled and read literature which is not for us. And so there is a lot of wrong literature which is produced by the blacks, so to say.
Yes, I went through phases like that in my life where I read a lot of things, and I was really looking to a lot of prophecies and things, because there's natives on this continent that in the 1890s and sometimes earlier that saw visions, and they gave all these answers to stuff that's going on in the future. And it was there, but it slowly got removed. It's still there. Some people still have all the teachings and the knowledge. And I heard a lot of these things, and I just went, ah. And then David Icke book come out, and I read all kinds of stuff
Me
from
too.
and all kinds, and it just made me nuts. And I was just like,
Yes.
God.
I went through depression when I read all his books.
And I wanted to dig a hole down in the earth and hide or
Same,
whatever.
same.
And then finally, I'm like, no, there's got to be good answers. Sure, there's all this stuff that can create fear. So I started asking the universe, well, is there books that can help me? And I would go in this store and I'd get drawn to a book and I would buy it and it'd give me all kinds of answers. Or I'd say, is there somebody there that maybe has a book, feels that it's important to me, and I'd be walking down the road and somebody says, hey, I have this book and you're meant to read it, and they would give it to me. And I go home and read it and I get all my answers. I'm like, wow, I asked the creator and all these things came to me. And you can ask the creator to prove things to you, have different ways, maybe a psychic or a spiritual. You get invited to maybe some place where a channeler is going to come. And one day I was reading a whole bunch of books and it had to do with prophecies and other kinds of things. And I was like, maybe I'm getting deceived or something. And I was getting really afraid. And so I kept asking the universe, is there somebody somewhere that has this knowledge, maybe can share it or tell a story or something? And I was walking by a church. Oh, walking along, and my guide is like, you gotta go in this building. And I'm like, I don't want to go into church. I don't, you know. And I tried to go in it 3 times, and then finally, okay, I'm gonna go in there. I'm gonna sit in the back. I'm just gonna go in. I'm just gonna first pew. I'm just gonna sit down. So I walked in there and I sat down, and I'm like, okay, I'm here. Now what? And the preacher was standing up there, and he says, it's really strange, but my wife says she has to tell everybody about this vision because there's somebody that needs to hear this. And I'm like, okay, this is going to be interesting. I'm sitting there in the back, and he introduces his wife. She goes up there, and she is saying, about a month ago, she says, I was really praying to the creator about the earth because in the Bible, it talks about all this stuff. And she says, and I was laying there and I was praying and I was looking up at the ceiling, and all of a sudden the ceiling disappeared and it became like a big TV. And she said, I saw all this stuff going on the planet, all these different kinds of things. And then she saw the future and some other stuff. And I'm like, wow, that's all the stuff I was reading that scared me. And she says, but it's all going to turn out good. And she says, whoever's meant to hear this story, all I know is I had to share it today. And I was back, and it was the answer I needed.
Unbelievable. Amazing.
And
Wow.
when you ask like that, you will attract those things. Because if it's inside you and you're not meant to be afraid, the universe will bless you with so many different kinds of answers. And there's many beautiful people out there carrying knowledge, and they don't know who to share it with because they're afraid they're going to get attacked or called crazy, or people are going to, just treat them really mean. So they just keep it quiet. Like that preacher, she never thought she was going to tell this story, but for some reason she told her husband, I have to tell this. And I happen to walk in off the street and sit there and hear her story. And it really helped me.
What a beautiful story. It says that when we ask, it's given. It comes.
Totally.
What about the higher self? Because we hear this, it becomes a bit of cliche, even higher self, higher self. You're asking the universe, what about your higher self? What is this thing, the higher self?
The higher self is the oversoul. It's connected to the everything in creation. And there's many different worlds and things and people and everything it's connected to. It's like a big energy source. Jane Roberts wrote a book, a book called Oversoul 7, and she had this channel to her, and it explains and tries to help you understand this energy you're talking about, the oversoul, and how this works and how it's trying to evolve and it's trying to help us evolve, and how there's higher beings even than that trying to help to move this oversoul higher so they can keep going up. It's a really, really good book. And she channeled Seth. She put out a bunch of books, Seth Speaks and a few others. And it talks about the quantum physics and how we are connected to this energy field, and we could be on other planets and other things. And this being knows all of us. And sometimes even on this planet, our oversoul has 10 other bodies on the planet, and it keeps us separated so we don't come in contact. Really, really interesting information.
So it's
Jane
like
Roberts,
10 people can have one higher self.
yes, on this planet. Because you're all learning, you want to learn really fast. So they have them all learning from different cultures and different things. In Jane Roberts' books, Seth Speaks, and some of these others, it's all explained in those books. And this was given in the 60s and 70s.
Another channeled information.
And it really makes sense with the quantum physics, with some of the energy and knowledge and things that are going on. It was in this book, and some of the people that read it back then, they couldn't understand. But if they went back and reread it with all the knowledge, with Greg Braden's teachings and all kinds of other people with quantum physics, Michio Kaku and all kinds of others talking about string theory and that, if you study really lots of that stuff and then you go read her books, it's going to make real lots of sense. It's going to clear up things and bring more peace to you, because then you know how big the universe is. And in the end, the universe is very loving. And the universe has purpose for everything. And believing and asking for all these things, and even always asking the Earth Mother, because we're on her and we forget about her. Sometimes we need to talk to her, or talk to the trees, or talk to the plants, because they're all here working with us in this energy. We're all helping one another.
So beautiful. Tell me, I know that you see a lot, you had many near-death experiences, and you have third eye open and you see so much. And that's why I want to ask you, when we leave our bodies and what actually do we see? Because do you see your higher self? Do you see this one oversoul, or what is happening? This is something that everyone is curious about.
Everybody has different things, and lots of people don't realize that you can step into different energies, and all of them are learning. And there are different planes of evolution. And when you understand these things in meditation, you keep climbing the ladder, you keep climbing until you break through, and you're connected to the creator of all that is the great mystery, the energy source, the central sun that sustains all life. And the idea is to keep going higher, and on different planes, there's places sometimes you come out and you're still trying to learn in that. Well, whatever you learn, if you get past it, then you keep breaking up through more, and there's different levels. Quantum physics and other things are proving this, and they're even starting to prove scientifically about the soul when it leaves the body, and that the science is getting really, really close to proving this. With a lot of native spirituality and a lot of the ancient beliefs, science are studying it more and more and more and proving it's real. So the astral plane is really big. They're like different TV screens, depending on what you need to learn and where you need to go. That's why you ask your guides permission, because they know where you need to go and what you need to learn. So when you ask this, you'll find yourself going someplace, and if you're learning it, you'll grow really fast. But people are afraid of everything. They're really scared of the astral plane when they should be really curious about it. Little children are really curious about it with their imagination. So it's easy for them to go in and out because they don't have a lot of filters and fear. But when we get old and we read too much, we get too afraid. We should stay curious. Because even in the Bible, it says there to know everything and understand everything, see through the eyes of an innocent child. And that was you when you were small. So we all have that inside us. We just got to have the curiosity.
Yes.
And for me, I believe in learning. So if something is going on in my life, I try to ask to learn it as fast as I can. Lots of people, they want to do lots of different things, protection or slow it down. Lots of people used to tell me, use mirrors, just put mirrors around you, just reflect everything back to everybody. And I'm like, but I can't learn nothing. I need to learn this. So whatever is going on, I don't want to put up mirrors, and I don't want to reflect things out or reflect things in or send everything back at everybody all the time, because then it just, I'm not going to learn anything. So if there's somebody there doing something, then I need to understand it. So I ask the universe, well, how do I do this? If I'm meant to have a crystal, that crystal came into my life. It has a life force and knowledge, and it's going to do stuff to help me. And that's why I have it. That's why I attracted it at that time. and it's connected to something. It has, like I say, it's old. The earth is 400 billion years old, or I don't know how old. So you think some of those crystals are very, very ancient with wisdom. So they have an energy. So when they come to you, they do things. When you're ready, everything attracts to you. They always say, when you're ready, the teacher appears. When the student is ready for crystal knowledge or anything, the crystals come in. And so asking your guides what it is you need to learn, and then your energy will shift and change. When it shifts and changes, you won't have that fear anymore. You'll find that kind of stuff doesn't come to you anymore. So I really like talismans. I really like the energy. I really like the ancient knowledge. But trying to find answers to how to get into the future and help the children and help the people. So taking the time sometimes to find a book and just read it, to find your answers, because the universe always is trying to find a way to bring you peace and bring you answers, so that you're grounded, so you're happy, so you can use your mind constructively and you can live and do things. Because when people are afraid, they just close off and everything just shuts down, and sometimes they just become their own enemy.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I absolutely know this, especially in the matrix that we live in. Fear is the main driving force. Yes,
Yes, and the more we fear, we feed that matrix. It's
that's
like
true.
it's like a game. You plug it in and you play the game, and one day you're tired of the game, you unplug it. There's no energy, so you can't play it. But if you decide you want to play the game, you plug it back in and then you play some more. So you feed energy into something, and the more the earth is afraid, the more it feeds into the matrix that keeps us that way. And that's the thing, it pulls us out of us. So if we can pull everything in and find happiness and peace, then we're not feeding that matrix that keeps that cycle going.
So we will be able to read the information in the akashas or in the information field around ourselves only if we get rid of the fears.
Yeah, or even ask the Earth Mother. She can help you to see that. Or sometimes people will use past life regression because in a past life they had an answer that they may need that knowledge now, and maybe through that they will receive it. There's many, many ways the universe will give you these answers. Sometimes you could be sitting meditating with a crystal and there was an energy or knowledge all of a sudden you've received because you're asking and you're open to it.
In my culture, we have this funny saying, the library angel. Ask the
Mhm.
library angel, and then you open the book, and the library angel is coming to help you.
Exactly. Because I had a friend in the past, when she did readings, people would come to her. She'd close her eyes, she'd sit for a while, and then she'd go like this, and she'd reach, and she'd bring down, she'd put it, and she'd go like this. And one day I was asking her, because I had her do me a reading, and I asked her, and she says, I don't know, but once I plug in, it's like there's a library there, and I see this book, and it's glowing, and it's your book. And she says, I reach, I grab this book and I put it in front of me on this little pedestal. When I open it, it's a page that's glowing. I open that and I tell you all the information on that page. That's how she did readings for people. And she didn't know she was connecting into the Akashic records.
You know, Dolores Cannon, she passed away. You know Dolores Cannon. She was talking about the
Cindy,
library. If you, I don't know if you,
Cindy went and took hypnosis.
amazing. All right.
So I've read all her books. You read the Nostradamus books?
No, I didn't know.
They have a lot of stuff about what's going on the planet and different kinds of things, but it also talks about the future and lots of different things. That one, if a person's going to read it, is don't read it to get afraid. Read it to find answers. There's astrology charts in there that show some stuff that I don't really want to talk about. But if you get curious, you may want to look at it. But I won't say too much about those books because I believe you should read something to find answers and believe in something better than just fearing everything.
Oh
Like
yeah.
read the Bible to find the good stuff because there's a lot of good stuff in it. But if you're only looking for the bad, you're going to find it. it's not going to help.
Yes, yes, yes. I also remember because I'm watching the videos of Dolores Cannon when she was alive. Her channel is existing on the YouTube, and she's talking about this library. When you know exactly the library that your friend was using.
In the Nostradamus books, there's a whole bunch of stuff in those 3 books where they go into the Akashic records. They go into these really amazing places. When they would talk with him, he would take them to these very special places, and he would show and tell them all kinds of stuff.
Joe, you just channel, because I just had true amazing, I don't know how to name it, reading with you, and you also get your information. How do you do you open the library, or you just, because you did like your friend was doing, like you just see, but from where do you get it? From the library? Do you have your librarian angel? How is it happening?
With me, I have certain guides around me that communicate with other people's guides and angels and that, and they show me the information through the spirits. Lots of times in the morning when I wake up, I'll light incense and I'll say a prayer that whatever I need to do today to help somebody, that I'm a clear channel, that the information, and I'll connect on those levels, and whatever needs to come through, I'm open to seeing it to help the person. So they guide me, because the shaman, they always work with the spirits, and the spirits are the ones that work and do everything. So I always give permission that I serve the creator, and I do these kinds of things to benefit and help people.
And you do. This reading was life-changing for me, and I recommend it to everyone. And I will put under this video your website, when people can see also not also your other very interesting advices on how to burn sage and what to do to make your own clearing. But also your contacts will be under this video, so that people can really benefit from your wisdom and knowledge and ancient knowledge, and it's really, you're really able to help people. I can confirm this from own personal experience. That's why it was so interesting for me to know, do you go to the library? How do you yes,
I don't know, they just take me in and out of things, and when I'm in it, I don't really question where I am.
well,
I
next
just
time try to go to the library and tell us how is it in the library, please.
I keep trying to encourage Cindy to do that.
To go to the library. This library is the one thing that I remembered from Dolores Cannon, and I found it so fascinating, because I think other authors, my mother told me she read other authors talk about the same library. So something like this exists out there,
But
where we can get information if we are not having fears.
I believe you are already tapped in, and for a lot of people, it's not the times for some things. I always ask the creator if it's the right time to do things. And sometimes we're connected to all of these, and we try and we try and we force and we do things. And sometimes it's there waiting for us, but we're trying too early instead of just being patient with the creator. The creator knows when everything is perfect and when it's to come in so you can use it. And sometimes it just play and let things go on. Maybe sit down, meditate. Well, today I'm not plugged in. That's okay. Maybe I'll try another time.
Well,
But
it's
when
so
the right
sad.
time, things open up all the time.
Okay, because it's so sad that we come with amnesia. It's annoying. Sometimes you feel like annoyed. Why am I with amnesia? How come I don't know who am I? I don't know who. We don't know.
Yes, and you give permission for those different veils and different energies to start releasing around you, because you asked for that. So when you give for that permission, it's like a little bit of things here and there get lifted out. And when the time is, the new energy will come in.
You say permission, and I want this to be very useful for people who watch us. Permission means that you make a clear statement to the universe.
Yes.
You say, I want this, I release that, I release my fears, I release my old energies, and I want the new information, the new energy. So it's simply matter of a statement, like you state what you want, right? That's
Yeah, giving
simple.
permission. Giving permission is a really big one with the universe because they don't push things on nobody. So if you really desire this change and that, and you're really asking and just ask it to come in slow. People want it really fast. And if it's a new energy you don't understand, let it come in slowly so you don't get afraid again. So as it keeps getting bigger and more, I always tell Cindy and other people, I always say when something really good comes in and all of a sudden you realize something, get really excited and say, I want more. And then they bring in more because they know you're excited and you're not afraid. So more and more things can open. So that is a really big thing about giving permission is yes, I want to change and I don't understand because there's so much knowledge out there. I don't know what I need to follow or practice. I don't know where I need to go on the planet or what I need to do. So giving that permission for it to come into your life to bring that change.
Thank you. I think this will be very useful because such simple rules we don't know. We don't know that it's a matter of permission, of stating your desire, of stating your intention, and it's really that simple. But this is again a matter of knowledge because knowledge is power.
Exactly. And the more knowledge you have, the more peaceful you are, and the more you will let things in because you know it's only going to make your life better and everybody, and you know in your future things are just going to keep getting better. So each time you integrate, because part of it is integrating is learning how to live and be in that energy because it's new. After you integrate it, it's going to be normal, and then you bring in the new one again and it's going to be a little bit strange, and then you keep adjusting until you're able to be in the energy and be good all the time.
Thank you. Thank you. Maybe because it was so nice, maybe we complete our talk this way. And I hope we can have another because I thought people liked so much our previous talk and really the wisdom and the information that you're bringing is very useful, especially in these times of fears. And this will help people release fears and live better and connect better to the universe, to the spirit world, and have really easier and better life. Thank you
And
so
to also trusting their ancestors because their ancestors, there's a lot of them been there before. And you trust your ancestors because they love you and they're going to assist you. They're the good ones that really love you.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank you.
so much, Joe. And I hope we have soon another conversation because this is endless. We can talk for ages. Thank you. Thank you
Yes.
so much.
Thank
I will
you.
place your contacts and I really advise people to look at your YouTube channel. It's a very new channel, but you still have amazing videos. One is about using the sage really to connect with the spirit world, to invite the spirit world, to clear and clean the environment around yourselves. And there is a lot of. You're also creating these images, sculptures
Um,
from stone. Do they have specific meaning, spiritual meaning?
some of them do. I just made a wolf the other day. I carved a wolf. This
Very nice.
friend, I made this, and his partner bought him this one, the
Beautiful.
buffalo. But I made a wolf, and it's just staring into the sky. And as I was carving it, the voice inside me said, "Call it the stargazer." So when I was making this, it's like this energy because the wolf's looking up and he's not ready to howl at the moon, but he's looking around at the stars. So I thought that was a really amazing one.
Oh yeah.
So sometimes I like to say prayers and that when I'm carving the carving. So sometimes if a person buys it, it will bring good energy into their life. It's the angels already know what belongs to that person. Um,
You're also teaching people how to make this.
yes, I do carving courses. I try to put videos to help other people how if they get stone that they can
There is
carve.
one video. This is what I wanted to say. That there is one video when you're teaching, and also on your website, there is a lot of info. Thank you. This is
Thank
wonderful.
you.
I found this also very interesting. Thank you so much, Joe,
Yes,
and
you
hope
too.
to talk very soon with you.
Yes.
Thank you.
God bless. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you.